Roch St-Georges, your real estate broker here in Ottawa. Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2021 and a lot of people have been asking me what my thoughts were for the real estate market, what kind of trends that I'm seeing. So I'd like to share all of these with you in a nice little video so you all benefit. So I'll be speaking about a few things, mainly the housing affordability in the city, immigration, as well as price growth for our city. So first off, the Canadian government has announced plans to accept over 1.2 million new immigrants from now until 2023. Obviously this is to meet Canada's growing need for skilled labor in the future. It's expected that by 2023, 1 in 3 people working in the labor force will have been born outside of Canada. And I suspect that Ottawa will continue to be an important hub for these newcomers to Canada because of the historically good job market, access to education, the improving transit system, safety, etc. As a newcomer to Canada, settling out west could be very expensive depending on which country you are coming from. Vancouver, BC, for example, is quite expensive as far as housing affordability. Out east, Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as PEI, at times have had a high unemployment rate. At this time, they currently sit at 12.2% and 10.2% unemployment rate. Alberta, on the other hand, is currently sitting at 11.1% of unemployment rate, with the average barrel in November hitting about $40, which is 25% less than in last year. A lot of jobs in that sector have unfortunately been cut. As a province, Quebec continues to be a interesting place to settle in. They do have attractive housing prices, but for many that come from non-French speaking countries, Quebec might present itself as a hurdle. So Ontario, and more specifically Ottawa, in my opinion, present themselves as a great prospect. One of the trends that I saw in 2020 has been people moving from large, big cities to smaller cities, which sometimes coincides with large, expensive cities moving to small, more affordable cities. So I've been seeing a few people from Toronto, for example, selling their large house worth close to $1 million, moving to Ottawa, buying a more affordable house, and oftentimes not needing a mortgage on the property. So I do see that trend continuing into 2021 as people seek to find more affordable places to live. Now, population growth. So the Ontario government is projecting that Ottawa will continue to see population growth. We're going to go from 1 million people in 2019 to about 1.1 million in 2026, and then 1.2 million by 2031. That's roughly 23,000 people moving to the city every year up to 2023. That's a lot of housing that needs to be built to house all these people. And according to CMHC, Ottawa has had about 10,000 housing starts from January to December 2020. Although this is higher than 2019, we will have to ramp that up, in my opinion, to meet the needs of the people that are coming to the city. We already know Ottawa has housing issues with the current rental vacancy rate sitting at about 1.8%. It essentially means that 2 out of 100 properties are sitting empty every month, so that's very few properties. CMHC also tells us that the average rent in the city of Ottawa has now reached $1,281. That's about 8.4% higher than in the previous year. One important thing to remember is also that Ottawa is home to 2 major universities and some local colleges. So we don't know what the pandemic will have done to the colleges and university enrollments, but if the universities and colleges go back to where they were as far as student enrollment, it's going to bring in thousands of people, tens of thousands of students back to Ottawa, and that alone will put more stress on the rental market. Now, affordable housing. In Ottawa, there's a long waiting list to obtain housing in a rent geared to income unit. For families and individuals, it can actually take 5 years to receive housing. And for larger families, it can take up to 7 years to receive that unit. and unfortunately the waiting list continues to increase every year. For example, at the end of 2019, there was about 12,577 households waiting to receive a unit. This is obviously a problem. In fact, every year there's about 3 times more people applying to be on the list than there are people giving units. So a huge problem that we'll have to look into here in the city and tackle very soon. This brings me to the homelessness problems that we have. Our homelessness issue continues to increase in the city. It's estimated as about 1,200 people living in shelters and on the streets at this time. Now, we've mentioned that housing starts have been increasing in the city. That means new houses are being built. Housing start essentially is counted when the foundation is being poured in. And although many houses are being built, most of these are freehold properties in the suburbs, detached row type units, townhouses as you know them. These are generally sold to families or investors, and with home prices hitting $600,000 in December, we all understand that these homes are being built for the middle to high income earners, and they do nothing to improve the affordable rental issue that we have in our city. What we are seeing is many tall structures being built, so concrete buildings popping up across the city. I'm thinking of towers such as the Frontier, which is a privately owned building of 228 rentals at the Blair. Their 1 bedrooms are starting at $1,695, and their 2 bedrooms are starting at $2,210, so well above the average for the city of Ottawa. These large towers are expensive to build, and therefore rents are often higher than the city's average. Zoning improvements. So the city of Ottawa has made some modifications to zoning which they feel will help with investors and developers in helping them build more low-rise rentals in existing neighborhoods. So the idea is simple, is to take smaller houses sitting on large parcel of land. Houses that used to only house 1 family would then be converted to a low-rise apartment building that could house 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 families on that same parcel of land. But when you look at the high costs of the city's development charges, running about $21,000 per 2-bedroom unit you want to build, plus the site plan control application for these projects, which are costing about $20,000 per project. And you add the rising costs of construction, labor, and of course property prices for the land. Building smaller scale multifamily is not always profitable for these small scale projects. Even with our high rents, building multifamily properties often makes no financial sense for the developer. What does this mean for homeowners? So although I can't predict the future, what the current market is telling me is that there's still a shortage of inventory across the city. And unless we improve the supply of housing in our beautiful city, I can see home prices continuing to increase slowly over the coming year or two as population continues to increase and COVID passes and immigration starts to flow back to the city of Ottawa. Now, all the neighborhoods, all the properties are quite different. If you'd like to discuss a specific property, a specific situation you guys are in, please do reach out to me. My cell phone number is 613-889-7732. 613-889-7732. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à me rejoindre. Merci, bonne fin de journée, au revoir.